Speeds in excess of 280 miles an hour. Covering the quarter-mile distance in less than 6 seconds. Drag racing from the NHRA. It takes time to build sporting traditions. Time for legends to be created. Time for records to be established, only to be broken. Time for the facts of the instant to be distilled into history. The NHRA Springnationals qualifies on all counts. 21 years of spectacular growth. From its beginning in Bristol, Tennessee in 1965 through stops in Englishtown, New Jersey and Dallas, Texas to its present and longtime home at National Trail Raceway near Columbus, Ohio. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and this is the 21st Annual Spring Nationals, an outstanding example of the tradition that has become NHRA Championship drag racing. This racetrack plays an important role in the history of the sport. In 1976, Shirley Muldowney won the Top Fuel title, the first ever by a woman driver. The next year, she won for the second time, using the Spring Nationals victory as the cornerstone for the first of 3 world championships. In 1975, Don Prudhomme won his first Spring Nationals funny car crown. That led to a march to 4 consecutive world championship titles. The Spring Nationals is a race of personalities and a race of change. Steve Evans has the story.
The first ever Top Fuel champion at the Spring Nationals back in 1965 was a fellow by the name of Maynard Rupp. Now, Maynard has since faded into obscurity, but he was a heck of a race car driver, as they all were then, because in those days, the driver sat right here, just behind and between the rear tires. Now, he was constantly fighting for control because the tires were only this wide and smoked literally from the starting line to the finish line. Now, he had some other problems to contend with as well, because his feet were literally on the bell housing of the engine, which meant that guys like Maynard were constantly trying to look around the supercharger to see, that is, if they didn't have oil all over their goggles. Now, the most drastic comparison I can make is that on Maynard's car back in 1965, the front wheels would have been right here. A 150-inch difference in the wheelbase of his car and this machine of Big Daddy Don Garlett's. Now, there's been some other upstarts like Maynard win the Spring Nationals, but really, this is a race that seems to like repeat champions. Shirley Muldowney has won it 4 times, Gary Beck 3 times, and Don Garlett's 3 times, even though he hasn't been here for 5 years. And this is the car I think most of the fans will be watching, because Big Daddy won the Southern Nationals, the Cajun Nationals. A win here would be the hat trick and the lead for the World Championship.
Thank you, Steve, and there's lots of fans on hand to watch. A huge crowd here at the Spring Nationals. $737,000 in posted prize money. Joe Amato holds low qualifying time at 5.58 seconds and top speed of the meet so far at 258 miles an hour. This is Joe Amato getting set to do his burnout. Joe Amato from Old Ford, Pennsylvania will be matching up against Gary Ormsby. This is a rematch of a race you saw earlier this year on Diamond B Sports coverage of the NHRA Winter Nationals. An overflow crowd watching the 2 cars back up after the burnouts. This crowd formed a line some 5 miles long just trying to get into the parking lots this morning. But they're jammed into the grandstands and along the fences for the second round race in Top Fuel Eliminator as Gary Ormsby, a Toyota dealer from Roseville, California, going against the current points leader in the World Championship points chase, Joe Amato from Pennsylvania. Amato with the #1 qualifying time of 5.58 seconds. That time was set several days ago. Gary Ormsby, though, in the first round of competition today, defeated Jack Ostrander with an outstanding 5.66 second elapsed time. That was a few hundredths of a second quicker than Joe Amato with a 5.72 when he defeated Connie Coletta. The lane choice, based on the lower elapsed time, going to Gary Ormsby, and now Ormsby's got to be considered the favorite in this matchup. Both drivers now concentrating on their starting line procedure, for it's on the starting line where many a race is won or lost. The advantage appears to be to Amato. And a close race at the finish line. The crew for Ormsby looks on, trying to determine who won the race. It's Joe Amato, 5.75 seconds at over 251 miles an hour. The elation of the moment showing on the faces of the crew for Joe Amato. As we watch again, you see the all-important start by Amato. He has got the advantage over Gary Ormsby right at the starting line. But Ormsby has got some horsepower. He stays with Amato in the middle of the course, and as they approach the timing traps and finish line, it's anybody's race. There's the times. 5.75 seconds for Amato, a 5:69 for Gary Ormsby. Ormsby late off the starting line. Let's go to Steve.
Well, Joe Amato arrives down here, and the first words out of his mouth, "Did I win?" So it must have been one close drag race. And indeed, Joe, as you're getting your helmet off, you won. And this time, it wasn't Tim Richards' horsepower. It was your good driving, a 7/100 hole shot.
Well, Timmy told me on the starting line I might need a light because he knew it was going to be real close. And, you know, I had to step up. And we've got a lot of fans here from TRW and Hearst because the main factory is close. And we didn't want to disappoint them. I'm really glad to make this one for TRW because it makes the people from home feel good.
And you know that Ormsby wanted you badly.
Well, this is a real critical race, Steve, because Garwitz has a tough run now. If we can get knocked out, that's 2 more 100 points we're ahead of them. And boys, you know, we want to win the race. We also like to be the world champion again. That's nice.
Excellent driving.
Thank you very much.
A brilliant driving job by Joe Amato. The race a matter of inches at the finish line. The 1985 Spring Nationals is being brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Goodyear. Goodyear tires and Goodyear service for more good years in your car. And by Hawaiian Punch. Nothing tastes like Hawaiian Punch. You only have to taste it once. Go Hawaiian. And here are 3 drag racing fans that are waiting for their favorite driver to compete in the second round of Top Fuel, Big Daddy Don Garlett. Near Columbus, Ohio. This is the 21st annual Budweiser Spring Nationals, and we're in the second round of competition in Top Fuel Eliminator. The number 2 qualifier, Dick LaHaye, winner of the recent Gator Nationals Championship, is meeting one of the rising new stars of Top Fuel Racing, young Darrell Gwynn. The LaHaye racing operation out of Lansing, Michigan is really a father-daughter combination. Dick LaHaye is the driver. His daughter, Kim, is the crew chief. It's a father-son combination for Darrell. His father, Jerry, a former great driver, now turning the wrenches on this Top Fuel dragster. Earlier, Steve gave us an example of the width of the tires of old. These are the tires of today, some 18 inches across, no tread, soft rubber compounds. They propel these cars to a quarter-mile racing surface in times under 6 seconds. For Darrell Gwynn, his combination put him in the number 6 qualifying spot with his quickest time ever at 5.62 seconds. But this is a sport of ups and downs. Dick LaHaye won the Gainesville Gator Nationals, but at Baton Rouge in the Cajun Nationals, he was unable to qualify.
Well, Dick, you had to outdrive him at Gainesville. You might just outrun him here.
Well, you know, we came in here with a new combination because we was a little disappointed on our Baton Rouge performance. And yesterday, or Friday, I guess it was, when I run that 59 to qualify, that was the quickest run that I've ever run. And the motor looked nice, and everything was fine. And we're really just trying to sneak up on it, but we're really having a lot of problems with the clutch right now. We had a new clutch in the first round, and we had to replace part of it. And we can't really get a combination together where we can tune on it. We keep changing it every run.
Let's hope he makes the right changes this time, because Darrell Gwynn, while he may be new to Top Fuel competition, is certainly not new to drag racing. He has won many national event titles at the wheel of a top alcohol dragster, but Darrell Gwynn was late. A beautiful driving job by Dick LaHaye, and outstanding last time as his daughter Kim heads for the truck, ready to go pick up Dad and head back to the pits and get ready for the semifinals. 5.66 seconds at over 253 miles an hour. Dick LaHaye defeating Darrell Gwynn. The defending Top Fuel champion, Gary Beck, racing against Gene Snow. The engine coming to life in Snow's car from Fort Worth, Texas. The name Gene Snow goes back a long ways in this sport of drag racing. He was one of the innovators when funny car competition got started. He dropped out of the sport for a while, then came back with a Top Fuel dragster and has been racing in this category ever since. During the years that Snow dropped out of drag racing, he founded an oil company. It has been successful, and that's what's allowed his return to this very expensive sport. For Gary Beck, his first win at the Spring Nationals came way back in 1974. He won again in 81 and is the defending champion, driving Larry Minor's team car from Hemet, California. Meantime, after a brilliant driving job and an outstanding win, Dick LaHaye checking over his engine before he goes back to the pits to start all of the maintenance work necessary to get this car ready for the semifinal round. On the starting line, the load is shifted onto the driver. All of the burnouts are completed. The work by the mechanics and crew chief is over. It is now up to the driver to corral this 2,500 horsepower monster in a straight line down a quarter-mile racing surface and get there ahead of the competition. The two cars into the staging beam. A good start for Snow. Smoking the tires just a little bit. Gary Beck pulls ahead. And to the finish line, Beck there first. 5.60 seconds, 247 miles an hour. That's the quickest time of eliminations thus far for Gary Beck as he earns his right to move into the semifinals. Here's Big Daddy Don Garlits, a crowd favorite wherever he goes. At the age of 53, Don Garlits is as motivated to make it into the winner's circle as he was when he started in this sport some 30 years ago in a Top Fuel dragster. As Garlits does his burnout, he's got to be thinking about that 5.60 second elapsed time by Beck, the quickest of eliminations.
Well, there's nobody stronger right now than this man, Gary Beck. Low elapsed time of the round, 5.60.
You're great, Steve. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a back each time. It's great. The guys are working real hard. Bernie and Bill Walter, they're just hitting it. So maybe we can sneak a win in this year after all.
Well, a quick time sometimes is tempered by an oily motor. This one is totally dry, sealed up. Couldn't look better.
Motor looks real good. We've been, we've had trouble with it all year, but it looks real good to us right now.
Guess what? You get a shot at Joe Amato next round.
Yeah, we need that.
Beck chasing after that world champion points leader Joe Amato, as is Don Garlits, who's currently number 2 in the world champion points chase. But Bill Mullins has been a spoiler. It was at Gainesville, Florida, and the Gator Nationals that Garlits and Mullins met once before. At that race, Mullins came out on top early on in the competition. But at the Cajun Nationals, the crafty veteran Don Garlits from Ocala, Florida, proved it to be just a little bit different. In a rematch of that Gator Nationals race, the final round saw Don Garlits in the near lane against Bill Mullins. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana crowd thrilled to watch Garlits pull ahead at the finish line and take the victory over Bill Mullins. Now the rubber match of 1985, but this time Don Garlits is a decided underdog. He's been having engine problems. He exploded one in qualifying. He's been having lots of difficulties with his supercharger. And the raw horsepower of Bill Mullins appears to pay off. And over the finish line by a several car length victory goes Bill Mullins at the wheel of car owner John Kerry's Top Fuel dragster. Mullins moves into the semifinals. His time an outstanding 5.69 seconds, 252 mile an hour charge. For Don Garlits, considerably slower at a 5.95. A very slight starting line advantage went to Don Garlits, but almost instantaneously, the horsepower advantage of Bill Mullins began to show.
Off comes the sock for Bill Mullins. He says, it looks like we hurt it, but you indeed hurt Big Daddy worse than you did this engine. You kind of owed him one, though.
Yeah, we did. We never get caught up with him. He's always tough. We're lucky to win it.
In what way?
Well, anytime you run at him, I figure, you are at a disadvantage.
No, you've had a problem going the distance mechanically, though.
Right. We just have the brakes at the wrong time. We can never have a lucky break. We're running good enough to win it, but we have throttle cables break and stuff like that at the wrong time.
See you in the semi.
Thank you. Hope so.
Mullins into the semifinals to race against Dick LaHaye. For Don Garlits, a long tow to Florida.
Don, I know you went to the starting line with the blower stepped, hoping that would help the performance. Apparently not.
Didn't do a thing for it. It's not making any power.
So internally, would the problems be?
I guess. I don't know. If it was something I knew that I could tell you, I'd fix it. I would have been fixed. I don't know what's wrong with it. I got to take it all apart and build a fuel motor.
I know you hope that Joe Amato wouldn't get a win light in this run so you could stay real close to him points-wise. Now he's gonna pull out a bit.
He's going to get away from me a little bit.
Yeah, there's lots of races left.
Yeah, you bet.
Garlits and Amato, oh so close in that season-long World Championship points chase. In the pit area of Joe Amato, it's normal maintenance time on an exotic Top Fuel dragster as the work goes on, getting ready for the semifinal race with Gary Beck. Beck having lane choice by virtue of the lowest elapsed time thus far in eliminations. We'll be coming back to the Spring Nationals. Dave McClelland along with Steve Evans, and in Gary Beck's pit area, it's work time. The crew performing the maintenance on this Top Fuel car as they get ready for the semifinal race against Joe Amato, with Gary Beck having lane choice. The other pairing finds Dick LaHaye against Bill Mullins, with LaHaye having the all-important choice of lanes. While the work goes on in Top Fuel, it's funny car time on the starting line as Kenny Bernstein rolls through the water, getting ready for his burnout. Bernstein in the second round of competition will be racing against Dale Poldy. The partnership of Mike Hamby and Dale Poldy